You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
And welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Oh, happy Monday. You can tell the stress of the world. That's in your introduction right there.
Yeah, tech issues. Just trying to get started, for crying out loud. It took us...
It was plaguing for, 30 minutes?
30 minutes!
Yeah.
30 minutes. It required a restart, then a shutdown, and so much stupid.
And it's not even me this time.
No, it's not you.
Who would have thought? Somehow I wouldn't be on the receiving end of the tech problems. It's kind of my MO, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Trying to step in on my turf.
I'm trying not to. I'd rather not.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want you to keep that title. But
no, I need to keep it. It's kind of my only bragging that I can keep for myself.
So hopefully throughout the entire show there will be no more issues. You will not experience any issues because, as you know, right now we're recording. But when you hear this, we're not recording. So I don't know what this is going to sound like until after the fact.
Yeah, that part of it's a mystery still.
Mm-hmm.
We discover that later.
So,
or 20 minutes after we're done.
Yeah. So I went back to work this week.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess that was all right. I mean, it wasn't like a terrible, I didn't feel bad about it. I wasn't like, oh, stupid work, I gotta be here, bitch. There's nothing like that. Right. So, I mean, everything was just trying to get back into the groove of things, which I usually... I mean, it's been a month and I didn't have any problems. I knew my job. Yeah. The only problems I had was trying to remember the passwords to get into the computer that I was using. Because I never write them down. Because they say, don't write them down. Don't let people get into your PC. And I try to keep them up here.
Yeah, but when you keep telling me I need 9 to 12 letters with one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, one special symbol. I don't know. How am I to remember all of that?
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a bevy, like one password that was my go-to. And then I started getting these alerts. It's like, hey, Google's been hacked. And I was like, now, wait a minute. You guys are supposed to be secure. So I just decided, you know what? I guess I'm going to have a different password for everything. I allow Google to choose it because they come out with this algorithm string of letters, numbers, and symbols. And then I put them aside somewhere in a place that I hope is secure.
There you go.
On a list. So if I need to remember one, I just pull up my list.
Random Google password. There we go.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's the only thing I can think to do anymore. Because you can't trust anybody.
You really can't. Yeah.
So, what have you been playing?
This week, let's see. I finished Sometimes Always Monsters, which I know I talked about the first one and a little bit of that one last week. So I've done one full playthrough of that. Very, very good. Very well done. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. So there isn't really a whole lot to say there. I know you don't want to get too spoilery, although this is the type of game where it can kind of go in so many different directions. It doesn't mean I'd necessarily spoil whatever playthrough that you might have going on.
Sure.
But I mean, I definitely, if you're into story-rich games and you like the little pixel art and you like branching narratives and all this kind of stuff, I highly recommend it. And especially right now, first one's $2. They have it on sale right now at the Stumble, and I think even the new one is on a sale right now. You could probably pick them both up for $17 or something right now, and you've got yourself hours and hours and hours of entertainment. But I really enjoyed it. We had a very interesting ending to our playthrough for the stream playthrough. Probably not the good ending, but I'm not used to getting the good ending on my first playthrough on games like this, no matter how hard I try.
Yeah.
I always seem to make that one decision that pisses off like everyone or something and deviates the whole plan for what I was trying to do. But I did actually go back and do one more playthrough of the first one because, you know, when you've played through it once or twice, you get an idea of like, I bet you I know where it would branch again if I did this time and maybe this adds up. And it definitely went a lot different. I skipped through as much as I could just to make it go faster to get to the parts that I would. So much so that it actually changed the character who I was playing at the end. And when I transported that save file into the next one, I was still that character. So I'm curious where the original character is then now in this world that I've created. And if she'll pop back up in some way, because now that I finished the second one, I'm like, they might have done something here. And I'm not sure what it is, but I kind of want to go through that one now and see as well. I mean, I got nothing but time. Apparently, this is my life now. I don't work. I don't do anything. I'm just stuck in a house.
Sure.
So, and then today I finally tried Guilt on Stadia. So it was my first time trying Stadia, first time playing Guilt. Basically the only game that came with the free pro sub that you could get for 2 months that I was actually interested in playing. Everything else is just like a regular storefront. Not trying to buy nothing off of there. And for me, it ran really well.
Okay.
It ran really well. But again, keep in mind, I have fiber internet, guys. I have a gig up and down. So, like, I know that makes all of the difference. But I was also streaming at the same time. So I was kind of wondering if there was going to be any hiccups with me having to be uploading, downloading everything at the same time and doing a web thing. But it worked gorgeous. I didn't feel like I didn't have any screen tearing. There wasn't any hiccups or like long loads or anything like that. So for me, seemed to work great. So if you have really good internet, this could be a really great alternative for you if you can't afford a console or anything. It's just now getting a library that makes sense.
Yeah.
And, but you would still pay the same price for these games you would any other storefront. As I was looking through it again today, like Borderlands 3 still full price. Doom I think was still $40. So that's been our question, right? Like if something happens to Google Stadia, which might, let's be real, where does my money go? Because there was never any tangible thing for me to download or anything. Like that was the nice thing about Stadia. I opened it up, I hit the game, it was ready to go.
Yeah.
And I tested it the other day just to make sure it was going to start up. Today was the first time I played it. It left exactly off. Now I need to test it with I have a phone and a tablet at home. That's probably the only other two things that I can think of that I would own. And now I want to just open it up on there and see if it just as seamlessly moves over, you know? And then now I can see, is the PC going to make all the difference? The internet, the tablet, what is it? So hopefully next week I will let you know what it's like on different things instead of just on my PC. But yes, worked great. Worked fine. So I could see if you have good internet, that would be a good solution. I just still would be apprehensive of buying a full price game through something that I'm never even getting a download for. So if it shits the bed, I can't have access to that game anymore. So I feel like I need to do some research. There has to be a game plan for that, right? Like even Steam has said in the off chance they would just leave it up as an offline mode thing and you could still get to your own library. So curious. But yeah, we're great. Okay. That's the only game I've tested it on though. And the game itself is way more creepy than I expected it to be.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all because you're just playing like this little girl who you're in this weird like supernatural kind of world. I don't think she was anticipating it to be that way either, because in the opening scene there's like a kerfuffle she's having with some other kids, falls down on her bike, breaks the bike, and now we're playing and we're looking for a way to get back home since our bike is broken, and we find a cable car, we go into town, and everything is weird. You know, there's these monsters that are running around and it's real stealth-based game. And then you have very limited things to protect yourself if you get spotted. Basically, you just kind of want to run and hide and get out of line of sight again. So that's kind of how it's playing. But so far, graphics are gorgeous. The story seems like it's going to be pretty good. Doesn't feel like it's going to be a very long one because I think I've put in about 3 hours and I already feel like we're kind of in the middle. So I'll probably have that beat this week. I'm thinking it feels like it's going to be short, but yeah. And I think that's all I played this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Another round of Always Sometimes Monsters, finish Sometimes Always Monsters, and then tried out Guilt and Stadia today. So, yeah.
Okay.
Most of my games that I fill time with are just boring, piddly stuff that there's really no need to mention. I should probably actually do what I said I was going to do months ago and start downloading all the other games that I have and just trying them, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes, just to see if it's a game that I would like. Nah, let's just keep playing the same shit I put 900 hours in. Totally makes sense, right?
Why not?
I only have 1,100 games. Let's just keep playing those old ones, you know?
Sure. Why not?
But what about you? Probably not as much this week since you actually had to punch a time clock, but
Yeah. All I've played is the Lego DC Supervillains game. And I'm pretty much done right now. Like as soon as I finish, I can go out there and just do some house cleaning for trophies, and that will be like snap of the finger, be done, probably less than 30 minutes, because it's essentially do this, do that, do this, buy that, boom, done. Because I've beaten the game, I've played all the levels, I've collected everything within the levels. I just need to do the piddly stuff to get all the trophies, and I'm done.
There you go.
So after that, I don't know. I have a choice. I have several choices.
I was going to say, we're probably all of us have plenty to play, but
Because Todd has let me borrow Innocence, A Plague's Tale.
yes.
You were telling me about that, so I want to try that. And I've had it for several weeks now. I've just not gotten around to it because I've been working to it.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's about 8 to 10 hours, I think, is what it took me. So if you can commit like a weekend, you could probably have it beat.
Okay.
Assuming you're enjoying it, of course, and want to continue through the game.
Right.
I liked it.
And then I had another game outside of the other library of games that I already have. I had a game bestowed upon me for no other reason than, I guess, just to be nice, because my son came over this week and he was just like, here. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, it's a game for you. And I'm like, for what? Because, I mean, that's my general reaction. For what? It's not my birthday. It's not a holiday.
What'd you do? What's wrong, kiddo?
Yeah.
Like, what are you buttering me up for?
And he was just like, no, it's just, here you go. So I was like, okay. And then, no offense. I wasn't trying to offend or anything. It was just, it was Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to anybody who was out there.
Happy Mother's Day. Yes.
But yeah, I was just like, you're a month off, pal. But no, I appreciate it. It's the sequel to Ni no Kuni, which I remember playing on the PlayStation 3, kind of the anime style from the Studio Ghibli. I think that was the studio that was involved with it. Almost positive it was. Anyway, it's a sequel to that game. I remember it coming out, and I was like, I'd kind of like to get around to it, but just never did. And then now I have it sitting in my lap. So
there you go.
Hey,
that's always good.
Yeah. So
a fun present you weren't expecting out of nowhere. Those are usually good.
For sure. So I've got to choose which one, and I might go for A Plague's Tale since it is the shorter game, and then maybe roll into the other one.
And then in theory you have to return that one. So
that's true. Yeah. So I can just get it over with, be done. There you go. Because I probably won't. Yeah, it's one of those games I'll probably play through once and be done with. Kind of like.
Oh yeah.
As much as, because I remember I mentioned Catherine that I wanted to go back and see all the endings. I don't see myself doing it. I don't know why. I do want to see it. I do want to see those other endings.
When a game is that long, and I think that's what started to make me become, if you have the ability to. Now, I know not every game allows you to have more than one save file, but like even with Always Sometimes Monsters, I think I had every slot full because for some reason I would save before some major choice, thinking I would just go back to that point, and just make it from there. And then when you realize still how much time and effort is put into from maybe that was only an hour into the game and you're,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, but sometimes you might just want to look it up on YouTube just to say you saw it instead of putting in
it's
the
true.
10,000 hours it takes to get through it as many times as it would take.
Yeah, because if I'd have thought about it, the multiple save files would have worked, because for certain branches of the ending, is you have, like, I think I've mentioned this before, you have like a good and a bad meter. Like you're being really loyal to Catherine with a K, and you know that's your love, that's the one you're going to be with. And then if you're being disloyal to her and you're cheating and going with Catherine with a C, then you go down into the bad meter, and then that can shift the tide of the endings. And then at some point you have certain questions you have to answer that will then take you to whatever ending you have based on where you were. So if I had saved up to a point with the save file that I was on, I probably could have went through less just to get to some of the endings with the good meter, and then just have to play through it yet again, getting the bad meter filled up, and then just do it that way. So I didn't think about it. And I just, when I think about it, I'm just like, maybe.
Or
maybe
you
I'll come back to it.
accidentally save over that one file and you go, well, good. All right. Just come to peace with the fact I'm probably just not going to see it all from my own doing.
Yeah. So YouTube might be the way to go. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to say the best game to ever do that, though, that I can recall off the top of my head was Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
One of David Cage's games, because literally, what was there, maybe 3 endings, but the choices seem to be made right at the end.
Yeah.
So if you saved it, you want to go light, you want to go dark, you want to do nothing, you could just save it right there, watch it, go back, choose the other one. And I'm like, thank you, David Cage. Not all of his games will do that, mind you, but that one was the only one that I can remember where I'm like, oh, that was the simplest way to see all of the endings. Bam, 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 and done.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that the story for Catherine is not intriguing. It's just,
It's long.
it's long. I mean, there's just so much time that gets put into it, and I played it already.
And there's always parts or levels that you just didn't really enjoy as much, I feel like, in every game. And so when you get to that part, you're like, damn it, I gotta do this whole thing.
Yeah, and and that's why I was saying I just play it on easy so I can kind of breeze through the puzzles, but I still have to go through the narrative portions of it.
Can you not skip it?
I don't know. I don't remember if I could, and I think that was
That's
another
always
part
nice
of it.
when they add that.
Because I would want to see, like, if I made this choice last time, I definitely want to see the other choice the second time around to see how it played out, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
No.
anyway, but yeah, I have
I don't blame
choices. I've got that game finished. We'll see where I'm at next week.
We'll pick it up from there, it sounds like. Excellent. Well, we could chat about some news then.
All right,
Since we
what do
had
we
a
got?
little bit lighter of a gaming. You're going to be happy. You know, we decided to do COVID news up at the top, as I've been saying for a while. Get it done, out of the way. You can skip. There's no skipping. Believe it or not, you should be happy to know it. I couldn't find anything new for games and COVID related this week. So everyone, I guess, is settled working at home or doing their thing. I didn't find anything canceled or rescheduled or delayed this week. So, yay. You don't have to skip this time. But we got a lot of actual news.
We do.
So we're going to have plenty to talk about. Last week I was all sad there wasn't anything, or the week before, I don't know. And this week there's a lot. So we'll just start off with the Xbox event, because we all went through it, right? And everyone had a little bit of a different reaction, kind of went down the board. But as most of you know, Jeff Keighley did a live stream across all the platforms on May 7th, which was a look at what's to come from the Summerfest. So the plans are to reveal more Xbox Series X games and gameplay footage.
Yes.
Put a pin in that gameplay footage, because that's something we'll be talking about in a little bit as well. We'll go ahead and talk about the games and what was revealed first, but this one was third-party only games at this time, so there was none of those that are showed yet. So first party supposedly will be in July. About 45 minutes each is what they were saying at the top when it actually kicks off fully into the Summerfest. So I'd say hopefully they get the volume figured out. This was one thing I had a trouble with. I ended up switching to Twitch because BTTV has an add-on now for an audio compressor, so you can make the volume a little bit better. And okay, he was just super soft, and I would turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. They'd play a trailer, and then my ears were instantly bleeding. Like, It was really bad. He did kind of get it figured out there towards the middle, but I was like, oh my God, this is rough. But then I wanted to go back to YouTube because Twitch wasn't offering it in 1080p. So I'm like, everybody, can we get on the same page there? Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Whatever. Anyway, that's my own personal gripe that I, for some reason, decided to throw in there. But back to the Summerfest games. Let's see. They did say that there will be more May events to be announced, so just keep checking the website, or you can sign up with your email to get reminders. So June was where they said we'll be getting a closer look, hopefully, at Cyberpunk, more EA games, and the Steam Games Festival as well. So they wanted to show off these games. So before we talk about the games, it should be mentioned that most of all of these games said that they were smart delivery supported.
Okay.
With the exception of Madden, which we will talk about that as well, because EA decided that they're going to have their own stipulations to the smart delivery system for Madden. So there is another Madden game coming. I don't really feel like there's a lot of lengthy discussion that needs to go into that. You like Madden, you know how the game plays. Here's your upgraded version. But EA tells us there's a small window that you have to actually get the smart delivery upgrade, because of course they would. So to receive the offer, players must purchase Madden NFL 21 on Xbox One by December 31st, 2020, and then upgrade to Xbox Series X by March 31st, 2021. So just best be willing to shell out for both right away if that's important to you to have Madden on smart delivery upgrade. I that was the only one that I had seen, but I'm thankful to those who had seen it, because I don't know that I would have seen that fine print as I'm just sitting there watching trailers and trying to take my own notes as I was going along. So thank you to the internet. They don't miss a thing. So one of the ones that they premiered was Dirt 5 by Codemasters. It's a racing game. I took note of this one because you got Troy Baker and Nolan North featured in the career mode, which is exciting. It's a fully fleshed out career mode where it looks like players can make choices on how to further their racing career. It also says it'll feature some familiar names from the car and culture world along the way, which means nothing to me.
Nope.
But if you're into racing and you know these names, congratulations, because I won't know any of them. Ebb Software's Scorn. Look kind of gross.
Yeah. It was
that was my takeaway. A little gross. A little creepy. If that's what you were going for, you nailed it.
Is that the one? Is that the one with the weird body horror?
Yeah, looked like they were all melting and blood and looking like aliens and crawling out of the walls and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned aliens. That's what, like, I saw something after the fact that it was possibly, I don't know if it's based on anything of his, but H.R. Geiger, the guy that made the aliens, his name was attached to a headline that I read, and I was like, oh, okay. So then that made more sense.
Make sense.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. It looks like what I probably am not interested in, because I felt very like bleh the whole time I was watching it, but that might be what they were going for. So GG, you invoked that reaction within me. Then we saw a game called Chorus Rise as One, which this one's a maybe for me. It looked to have like a strong female protagonist in this apocalyptic universe. Again, no gameplay. We're just going to put that out there. None of these that I'm mentioning, we saw any type of actual in-game play. But it looks to be like a space simulation game. It does have combat, some like weird, deep tones to it. I don't know. It's Deep Silver, so it could go either way.
Yeah.
I think it was like, it looked like she's an ace pilot, right? And that their ship was named Forsaken, and it's like a redemption story. I don't know. So maybe Red Dead in space, but it looks pretty cool, and I'm going to keep my eye on that. But of course, the one that they mentioned that I was super excited for was Vampire the Masquerade 2 Bloodlines. Like, oh my God, that trailer was awesome. And I feel like we did see hints of gameplay in that one. Maybe I'm just putting two and two together from other clips and stuff that I've seen before. I loved it. I heard some grumblings about people pissing and moaning about like the graphics used and things like that, since, I mean, I guess after you get done seeing all of these trailers for all these other ones that you can tell had all these I don't know. I thought the aesthetic worked. I feel like we're picking at little things, but I also loved the first game, which, well, let's be real, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a buggy mechanical mess, and then players fixed it. And to me, it fits the aesthetic. So I have no problems myself with the graphics of it. I think now we're probably just... people have raised the bar way too high for graphics, which is just making expectations kind of fly all over the place for what we're wanting. But all in all, loved it. Thought it was a great trailer. I'm still excited for Vampire the Masquerade too.
Yeah, and that was the game that was, I mean, it was not on my radar outside of you telling me about it. And had you not, if you had never told me anything about it, that would have sold me on it, because now I'm interested. I'm like, okay, you got me. I want to play this.
That trailer just, wow, like it creeped me out in just the right amount of way. It really did. And I was singing that song like all the rest of the day. So that should tell you like how much, like I watched it like twice and it was stuck in my head. We did get another game called The Medium, which looks like another new IP about a woman named Marianne, who is the protagonist, and she is the medium who is haunted by a specific vision. They did have a more in-depth talk with some of the creators of the game. Let us know that it is set in Poland in the late 80s. Apparently, it was more of a disruptive time for them. A lot less freedoms and things that were going on in their area of the world. And her medium, she can see into the spiritual world, which gives her more insight and the ability to solve the puzzles and things that are going on in the world around you in this game. It is a horror genre by Blooper Team. They're the ones who were behind Observer and Blair Witch. So they are also promising no loading screens when switching between worlds in this game.
Okay. We'll see.
So I think that's what we're really going to see on the next hardware that's going to be a big leap for us. I don't think it's going to be graphics like by leaps and bounds, because you and I have had this conversation so many times. Like, how much better can it really get? Like, they look so good.
Yeah.
Maybe little minor pixels here or there. I think it's going to be the load times and how fast these games can render and go. That's really going to be the next step for all of these. So
I would say, kind of piggybacking off what you said, because I know we had that discussion when we were watching it, and as far as the graphics go, the one thing that I will say that I did notice that I do appreciate from, say, PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 or Xbox 360 to Xbox One graphical thing that they did is they captured more emotion in the face. Now, it might seem very minuscule for some people. Granted, you can tell a big difference now. Like, I've actually didn't realize what, like, the massive difference there really was graphically. It didn't seem that way at the time. But when you go back to an older game, you can really tell they did kind of step up a lot. But emotion in the face is really what they've improved on through this cycle.
And probably just even over the years, if you think about it, because it used to just be basically a blank slate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like there might be like eyes and maybe a lip painted on, but that, I mean, look at the old Lara Croft.
Yeah.
So we've definitely updated how fine the hair looks. The creases in someone's forehead, like all of that, I get. It's lovely. I just feel like maybe we're making our expectations too high now because we keep getting blown away one after the next. That I don't know where we go from here. So we might have to temper expectations a little bit for what you're thinking you're going to see visually, because it's really good right now already.
Yeah, I think it's fine as is. I don't know what more you can do. I really don't. So, like you said, load times. Let's focus in on that.
Right. The game's moving so much faster. Maybe the frames rates are amazing. Again, no load times. Like, those will still be huge improvements. Yeah. I just don't want people to buy these next-gen consoles and then get extremely disappointed in what they look like without looking at the things that were probably built upon. Anyway, digressing. But I think we just need to temper our expectations a little bit on that, because it's just so good right now. Bandai Namco introduced Scarlet Nexus, which seemed to be a psionics was what those interesting, weird creatures were called. I had to go to the website to actually get a little bit more information about this one, as well as the trailer did. I still didn't have a whole lot of information what it was going to be. But these people had been infected with this psionic hormone in the brain, which was giving the infected these extrasensory powers. From the trailer, though, you do see you play as Yorito Sumeragi. I hope I said that right.
You did.
Who has psychokinesis, and it gives him the ability to fight against these mutants. And also part of a group that I guess goes out and fights these mutants together, and he wants to be good enough to be badass along with them. Art style was really cool. That actually looked like it's a game that I would enjoy playing as well. Bright colors and the style with which it was created and drawn was really cool. It was really cool. Avalanche Studios showed off Second Extinction, which is a 3-player co-op shooter game where you try to wipe out mutated dinosaurs that have clearly taken over the world.
Sure.
It looked like just a fast-paced action kind of shoot-'em-up game. Totally lots of fun if you got some friends to probably play around with on that one. Mm-hmm. And then we got a closer look at Yakuza Like a Dragon. Confirmed for PCs. You know, I was happy about that. I ain't gotta wait for some kind of port or anything, so that's cool. And I'm not going to go into too much about that because I feel like that's been talked about a lot. We already knew that it was going to be kind of a different play style for this Yakuza than some of them in the past and things like that. So, and finally, the big one that people were wanting to see again was gameplay of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And so they definitely went into a little bit more detail of the game and the story. We did get a different depth look into the trailer. But that leads me into the next story. The controversy over the gameplay that all of us were expecting to see because we were told we were seeing gameplay trailers. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know what to say about this anymore. There was so much confusion that was going on. Obviously, Twitter blew up and in the chat blew up for where I was watching, where he had to even put a graphic on the screen trying to explain like in-game trailer or gameplay footage.
It wasn't gameplay.
It wasn't. And so I go digging again because I want to be like, so what difference are they trying to point out to us? Like, because there was clearly a miscommunication because it wasn't just like a few of us who were under the impression we were going to see what the game was playing like. Like, it was a pretty 50-50 split down there. But people were feeling disappointed in the event because of that one thing, which the event all in all was pretty good. I think that was what made people, and again, if I'm wrong, step in, but it felt like a lot of the comments were, they felt bummed because there was no gameplay. And I think that one detail trashed your event more than it would have because all in all, the trailers were good. The game seemed good. I think the event went off well for what we're able to do right now in the day and age of, you know, the pandemic. So where did we miscommunicate? So Xbox actually agreed and they thought the same thing. They tweeted out, had we not said anything and just shown May Inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect the reactions would be different. So what we actually saw though was in-engine gameplay. So what does that mean? So it was rendered using the game engine and not necessarily what it would look like in game. So like how you would make a cinematic trailer using a game engine, that's showing you what it could look like. Mm-hmm. But we all know that's not usually how the gameplay would play. I would be super and severely impressed if we've upgraded to the point that gameplay looks like that. But it was misleading. And I feel like they know that we misunderstand that and buy games based on it too much. Ubisoft, I feel like, does this a lot.
They have. Let's not forget the Watch Dogs fiasco they pulled
yes,
at E3.
I bought into that. I went at midnight to buy that game from GameStop. And about an hour in that night, I felt like I wasn't playing the same thing that was sold to me at all.
Because you weren't.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was very upset about that. That was the first time I remember buying into a hype game like that where I literally went to the midnight release at a GameStop so I could pick it up and never felt more disappointed in a while. Like,
yeah, Ubisoft is changing what they consider gameplay. They are trying to define it their way. But the problem is gamers have the definition. We know what the definition of gameplay is. We want to see the game being played on the console in which you are telling us it's going to be on. That's gameplay. You can try to redefine it any way you want, Ubisoft, but it doesn't matter. We want to see the game being played with a controller.
If
on
I
the
own it and
console.
put it into my console, what is it going to look like?
Yeah.
And they're also really big on, and they're not the only ones, just the one I'm going to pick on right now, but this fast PC that is totally gonna look better, of course. So they sell you on that PC image too, like how well it looks there, which isn't gonna look the same when you take it to your console. There should be side by side so you can see the difference. Because if I own a PlayStation, I can't afford a PC.
Yeah,
I want to see what it looks like for me. Does it mean I'm not going to buy the game? I mean, I don't know. I've never been one that just always gravitates because the graphics look good and we're pushing what it can do. I like good stories. I like a well done game. Hence why Vampire doesn't piss me off. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But stop lying to us. I feel like it's just one of these marketing tools that they've used for so long that just keeps working because we keep buying the games anyway. I don't know. Something's got to give. So hopefully maybe this brought a little bit more light to it since more of us were home and could watch at the exact same time and probably pounded them on Twitter way more in a row than they probably were used to. But can we stop that? That's all I'm going to ask. Just stop. Don't tell us it's a gameplay trailer. Say it's rendered in the engine. Say it's a cinematic trailer, in-game engine. Say all of that. But when you attach gameplay to it, show us gameplay. I'm just getting tired of being run around about that whole thing. I want to see gameplay. So we've yet to still see gameplay on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know when it's coming. Maybe the day you buy it and put it into your console.
Sure.
But moving on to other stories. PSVR is actually working on a prototype for a PSVR 2 finger tracking controller.
Ooh.
Why it caught my eye is because it's PlayStation. I'm like, what you doing trying to get Valve Index controllers going on? But it looked pretty neat. This would be interesting if they actually pull it off. And again, I don't have anything necessarily against PSVR per se, but again, I still think PC is far superior right now. But this is, of course, if we even get it. So there was a video released from Sony about their research on the finger tracking and designing the controller. The video more or less had the evaluation of the mechanics and how it appears in the patent that Sony filed back in 2018. So that's kind of cool. They've been thinking about this for a while.
Sure.
The prototype uses 62 sensing electrodes for finger detection, which is impressive. And even when you don't touch the controller all the way, it was sensing the slight movement in your fingers as it was getting closer to the controller. Okay. So that shows a really large variety of movement and poses, especially for console VR. Sony has confirmed that there actually isn't any plans right now to have a PSVR at launch with the new PlayStation 5 or a different version. They have said that your old unit should still be fine to use on the PlayStation. So I would assume if they're doing a whole other unit, headset, all of this stuff, you're looking at a couple years probably still out. But I just thought that was cool. Like, if you can get that good on a console with it, if that pans out, well, more power to it, man. You get more VR in front of people, too, because that ends up being cheaper if you've already got the console. Let's see here. So we had already kind of talked a little bit about this with EA and letting you upgrade your games for the current gen, where you can upgrade free for the smart delivery system. But we were just kind of worrying, what does that mean for PlayStation? We know we've been hearing a little bit about they're planning on doing backwards compatibility with 4. I love PlayStation, but I'll believe that when I see it because they've promised me that before. But we learned some new info about that through another earnings call to shareholders. So EA COO Blake Jorgensen, or Jorgensen is probably the proper way to say that, right? Jorgensen. Said, and Jorgensen. Now I'm just making fun of the guy. I just wanted to say it right. I'm sorry. You don't listen to this. I don't know. Maybe you do. Hi, Blake. But he said, and I quote, "This year's phasing includes the effect of revenue recognition from the games we are launching for the current generation of consoles that can also be upgraded for free for the next generation." So it goes on to say it wasn't very clear whether this meant just backwards compatibility or if it's going to be like Microsoft's smart delivery system or an in-house program of whatever they decide to name it that might let owners of the game apply for the next gen of the game. Maybe it'll just be a discount. I don't know. But since we know there is confirmation on Microsoft's end, PS5, you're up. Were we for sure going to be able to do that? So we already talked about how they planned on doing that with like Apex Legends and all of that out of EA. And I just told you what's going to happen with FIFA 21 and Madden 21. And there's like another unannounced game that we're going to be hearing about here apparently soon out of EA. So let's see what happens.
Sure.
Let's see what happens. I feel like Microsoft is raising the bar for what you got to meet here. But they're also the only ones with looser lips. So what's happening? Cyberpunk 2077 finally got a rating of M, which I'm not surprised.
No.
So I read the description of the Cyberpunk 27, and this was off of the ESRB website.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
It was kind of a joy to read. I don't know. I won't read the whole thing, but in the middle of the long paragraph was stated that players can select a gender and customize their character. Customization can include depictions of breasts, buttocks, and genitalia, as well as various sizes and combinations of genitals. Players can encounter events where they have the option to engage in sexual activities with other main characters or prostitutes. These brief sex scenes from a first-person perspective depict partially nude characters moaning suggestively while moving through various positions with brief thrusting motions and some scenes where a character's head is moving towards a partner's crotch. This is exactly what it said on the ESRB website. I feel like I read a porn game, kind of. I was a little hot under the collar when I got done reading that description. I had to go take a shower. But yeah, so streamers, beware. If in fact we are seeing bare genitals, don't stream creating that. You're just asking for a ban, and I don't want to see all your tweets later about how it was unfair you were banned. I don't want to hear it. Unfollow me. Get out of my feed. I don't want to see it. And I mean, this was already kind of interesting because I know we had already discussed how damaging having a penis in third person in a game is. And Steven did tell us the trials and tribulations of having it in first person.
I did.
So now this is our chance.
And now,
This is our chance to see if we should have seen Geralt's penis or not.
Well, you see, now, for all of us with a penis, if we are so, we're not as endowed as we want to be, this allows us to fulfill that fantasy, to be as endowed as we want to be.
How crazy it'll let you get. Because you know people are going to have that shit dragging behind them if you let it.
John Waters times
I might
2.
would try it too because it would be funny. I don't know.
I said John Waters. John Holmes. God damn it. Not John Waters. I don't know what his penis looks like. Don't want to know. He's a good guy.
Let's change the subject. So what penises have you seen today, Steven? But I do have to add, because I was wondering why any of this was even necessary at all, right? Not that I care one way or the other, but and I still feel like legit showing male or female undercarriages still isn't necessary, but I had a friend let me know that this seemed to actually be a great way to include transgendered gamers.
Yeah.
And with that knowledge, I thanked her already, but thank you again for forcing me to rethink again, because sometimes it's, you don't think about things outside of your own purview. So if that is in fact one of the main reasons why it was added, then I'm here for it. I want everyone to feel represented in their game. So if that's the reason why, I'm here for it. Totally 100%.
And that's a great developing conversation that we should all be having in life. Don't just crap on an idea. Don't just let it sit. And if you understand why it's there, don't shame somebody. Explain to them. Be like, hey, what about this? What about that? What about? It's a great starter.
Oh, she did it perfectly. She's like, actually, that sounds like a really great way to include trans gamers. And I went, oh my God. Yeah.
Ta-da.
And thank you for reminding me to think about that kind of stuff too. And I'm here for it. So enjoy. I'm sure we'll all have a good time with it once we get our hands on it, one way or the other. The next bit of news, Tequila Works kind of looked like they were starting to stir up a little trouble here. And I love the devs. I love this team, but I was reading this info and I don't know what to take of it. So the devs behind the game Kumo, which seemed like a one-man team, received a notice of legal action from Tequila Works, which is the devs behind Rhyme, The Invisible Hours, and Guilt, like I just mentioned that I was playing earlier. The offense seems to be that they were under the impression the trees in Kumo were the ones used in Rhyme and Tequila Works game. So they're claiming that the Kumo devs stole their assets for the trees that were used. How
hard is it?
I'm not a
design
legal
tree?
person. I looked at the images. I wouldn't have thought that at all. But I don't know what legalese goes into assets, what gets reused, who's building what, and all that. But personally, didn't look like a fight to pick. But they tweeted that after nearly 3 years of development, now this is the Kumo team, after 3 years of development and 10 years in the industry, I have never been so insulted. So the comment sections were just flooded where people were saying they don't really look similar. I'm in agreement. I wouldn't have thought that. And also, what does that mean for the Kumo team? They've temporarily halted development to straighten this whole thing out. So far, it looks like it won't go to court. But as I searched for more answers, looking at Tail Art Studios, which is the Kumo team, the Twitter feed to find out on May 5th, they posted a message to their fans, which summed up that the project is closed entirely for now, not knowing when they'll actually pick it back up again. So the last message stated, if you see this as me giving up and finding an easy way out, I'm sorry, but this is not the case, and I simply need to step away and come back as a new developer and bring Kumo a whole new style. So he made it sound like this wasn't the first hurdle that he's been trying to climb to get this game out, but this was the one that I guess finally put the nail in the coffin for him, where he's like, you know what, I just wanted to make a game, and every time I turn around, it seems like there's something new happening. So I don't know the other stuff leading up to it.
Right.
To which I found on Tequila Works Twitter on May 6th, a statement saying, we want to confirm that we have not taken legal action against anyone. We've only contacted the developer of Kumo as we saw close similarities in the assets of his game, specifically the trees, being the same as we created for Rhyme. We thought that this must have been an oversight or a mistake, so we have been asking for them to be removed. So what happens now? It looks like Kumo's just wrapped up for the moment. I hope he finds a way to get the game going back again. But man, when I looked at it, I felt like that was just a weird fight to pick. I would have never thought they were the same trees.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
It's a tree. It's a tree. It's not crucial to the gameplay that I know of, but it's a tree.
Just set dressing. Yeah.
In the background. A tree. There are trees outside my window. There are trees all around. Trees. So what if they look kind of like your trees? Is it going to break the game? No. Is it a ripoff? No. It's a tree, goddammit.
I'm with you there. I really felt like this was just like the weirdest thing to pick a fight over. I don't know. Because I don't know any gamer. I don't know any gamer that would have come up with that
if
either.
They ripped off
I just feel...
If they ripped off the plot, if they ripped off the main character, if they ripped off something that was tangible within the game that was specifically theirs, and you could look at it. And I know the argument is, well, the trees are ours. It's a fucking tree. A tree.
And I'll show you the pictures later on, because I really did look. I was like, I'm going to be fair. Somebody made these trees and wants credit. That's what this is. So let's see. And I couldn't tell. But no, Kumo, I hope everything comes back for you so you can get that, because it looks like you had a lot of fans waiting on the game, and heart goes out and just want it all figured out. But at least it doesn't look like they'll go to court. Just seemed like a weird fight to pick. And my last little bit of news, I'm telling you, there was a lot of chunk news. There wasn't little stuff. There's a few little stuff, but riot again with the toxicity issues, man. And it's one of those things we're seeing back and forth a lot. And we were talking about it last week, that it's a competitive shooter issue towards women. And we were breaking down all that. That was a different story. But right now, this is just the toxicity overall. Let's see here. This week, Jodat, or Voyboy is what he goes by. He's a League of Legends pro player and has been for the last 10 years. He came out this week addressing how bad it's actually become. So much so, he did a 9-minute video on Twitter explaining all of this stuff. The highlights that I took from it was he expressed how over the last 2 years, each year, he says, it's just worse than the last, and he's not seeing Riot do anything to try to fix it. He said he has given up on even reporting people because Riot hasn't been giving any consequences for the behavior. So Voyboy said he's had major griefing issues, people figuring out the algorithm to ensure they get on his team so they can throw the match, stream snipe, which is not Riot's problem, but still compounding on it, and just so much more. He did say that this is a solo queue issue. So I'm not saying that it only lies within that aspect of the game. This is just the one he was specifically talking about. This in turn had Devin Nash, who is part of Nerd Fusion, who's also been in pro esports for a really long time, to address this in one of his videos. And even he agrees that unless Riot does something to change the system, like this is like I don't know how you get out of this situation. So reading through those comments on Twitter, the player base just seemed to be massively in agreement with this issue and the fact that Riot doesn't appear to be doing anything about it. So which leaves those to speculate that it's them not wanting to lose that revenue, which means there has to be a huge issue if it were to hit their wallet that hard. Like, so a Riot, are you saying that all of your player base is this kind of a garbage person?
Sounds like it.
Again, this is the assumption without Riot seeming to have a public statement that I could find before we recorded today. I can only give what it appears to me. And the player base to you at this time looks like, I mean, he's been a pro player of this for 10 years, made his streaming career out of it for 5. He's basically saying, I don't know if I want to play your game anymore.
Don't. Take a stand. Don't do it.
I feel like that's what it's going to have to come to.
Yeah.
Is like your bigger players that like bring in massive bases like this, you might just have to be like, all right, we're playing, I don't know, whatever next League of Legends equivalent is. I don't even want to throw out a game because I'm not even really sure, but because I don't play it. But
I mean,
I just can't imagine playing a game, being so pissed off that you're going out of your way to try to make another human being feel like garbage over a game.
Over a game, yeah. No, I get it. And further to the point, these streamers who are having problems with it, like this guy, you need to start. You need to sit down and decide what's more important: that game or your morals. Because if this bothers you, stop playing it. It's not that hard. Put it down.
Well, I mean, if that's your whole livelihood, I could understand the struggle.
But
because if you're a pro esports player and this is what you've been making your income off of for a while, I could see the struggle.
But
that's gonna lay down to you whether you feel like that's worth it one way or the other.
But you make that's where he's making his living. I understand that, and it's going to be rough. But if that is something you cannot stand behind, take a stand. Say that I can't make money off of this anymore because it's garbage. The people are garbage. Everything is toxic. I don't want to be a part of it anymore, and step away. It's going to be rough.
It has to be wearing on him mentally if it's after all this time to do that long of a video too.
I can't. I understand money is the way to be, but damn, you've got to have some standards to live by and say, I'm not going to sit around. Because if I had to, you know how many times... And you know what? Maybe this is me. Maybe I'm starting to understand where he's at. Okay? But I don't encounter it on a daily basis like this guy probably does.
Oh, probably.
Okay? But if I did, oh yeah, I wouldn't be at my job. I'm not talking about sexist. I'm talking about racist. I've heard people say racist jokes, racist comments at my job. And it's not daily. It's just here and there. Once a year, maybe. And maybe that's 12 times too many at this point.
Oh, definitely 12 times too many.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it happens. But if it was common, yeah. But what do I do with those people? I stay away from. I'm like, you're the type of person I don't want to be around. So I
feel like I would have to tell them off first. And then I sequester myself. I don't have patience for that kind of stuff.
No, it's garbage.
Like
so I distance myself from these people, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be around you anymore. So screw you. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of person you've just shown me who you are. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be associated with you anymore. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if that was daily, I would not be there. I would not be there at all. Because it'd be like, I can't work here because this is a garbage place.
And no matter how you feel about yourself, hearing those kind of comments to you all the time, it's just going to wear on you. Mm-hmm. It's going to drain your mental health. Yeah. It can shape how you start to think about yourself. Whether you believed it initially or not, now you're letting these people plant this seed over and over and over again, telling you these things about a game. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I can understand the struggle because, like, I know that that's a huge cash cow of an industry. And as someone, and who knows, maybe he's made enough now that, like, he should be able to just walk away and could live comfortably until you find that next game or whatever. Maybe be the next Ninja. I don't know, where you start to step outside of just the gaming space. But Riot, though, come on.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that you've got to step up and do. Like, your players look like they're begging you to not let this game continue down this path because you're just going to have only these garbage people left. And maybe that's what you want if they keep giving you money. I don't know, but...
Well, they are suckers, so why not?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It seems like everything they come out with now, like, I just want to not even touch Riot stuff. I just feel like I've never had, like, hey, guess why Riot's in the news today? I've never had one of those moments where I'm like, uplifting story.
Now I'm gonna deviate real quick, and I don't want to go off on too deep of a tangent with this because I'm trying to remember if I remember this correctly. Anola, you remember our friend Anola? She's been on the show a few times. Maybe not when you were on the show. But,
no, I know, yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
No, we weren't on the show together, but I do know Anola. Mm-hmm.
She worked for Riot, did she not?
I think we've tried to remember this once before too. And I'm not going to say I'm confident 100%, but I'm like 90% sure that's where she said she used to work. But it's been many years now, so I can't confidently say if that was the team, but that sounds right.
I'm pretty sure she's with who, Microsoft or Mixer right now?
Well, she's no longer with them now,
But no, I would love to get her, because at the time when we spoke to her, I'm almost positive she mentioned that she worked with him. Of course, that's been years ago. Right. And I would love to know, because you can't tell me.
Like, have that.
Being a woman at Riot, if it's been that toxic, I'd love to hear her experience. Because if it was a good experience, something tells me she'd still be there. And she hasn't, she never said anything at the time, and she may not have legally been.
I don't know her well enough to know, like, what her aspirations are through the system, so I'm not sure, but I mean, who knows, maybe.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to put words in her mouth. I don't know if she's listening or not. I would hope she is, but.
And we could have this all wrong. Or somebody else.
She could
like,
have
Riot with a Y. You didn't remember me telling you about that offshoot company that, I don't know.
I don't know. But no, she's a great person. I'd love to have her back on the show if she'd ever come back to Tennessee. I gave her hell about
like that way on the show. Well, we could call her up and do it like how we do it. Just Skype with us.
Yeah, but she's busy, so.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, at least that was the end of the news. Now just a few little quickets here to run through. Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath was announced, which introduces new story DLC and RoboCop as a guest on May 26th. So, which I guess looks like it's a free update for existing players, which gives you new stage fatalities, friendships, and just all around new areas to beat them up.
I do have something to comment here because it did sit wrong in my head, and luckily I wasn't the only one after the fact when I started looking into it. Now, granted, RoboCop, Peter Weller.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing because you look at him and you're like, oh, it kind of looks like the Peter Weller, RoboCop. Even though he's got a mask, I understand, but you can certain facial features you can tell.
Shape of the helmet.
His voice didn't sound like, the second time I listened to it, I was like, okay, I didn't hear it. They're not doing the vocal reverb or something that they did in the movies.
Oh,
so that's why it kind of threw me off.
Was.
Yeah, but they are releasing this as a package. Mortal Kombat 11 plus Aftermath, all the stuff together, $59.99. Now, doesn't that seem like a big middle finger to all the people who paid $100 for your big season pass game package up front pre-order?
Whoa. I never played the game or anything. So wait. So you paid not necessarily you, but there was $100 like season pass? And you've yet to get anything that other people didn't get for free?
$100 for everything. And now they are going to give everything to everybody if you pay $60.
Ooh, yeah.
So
did you at least get fighters? Although that seems so silly.
I'm getting everything.
To give that away for free.
That everybody else is getting. But I can't say that I have something that they are not getting.
That's true. Did it have some cool steel book? I'm trying to think of something because that just
Mine was a digital download. Keep that in mind.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was just open.
Yeah.
Open package.
I'm surprised I haven't seen more hubbub about that then too.
I'm really surprised you haven't either because when I looked at it, when I heard it, and then I started seeing where like, hey, you can get this and this and this, and they were breaking all this down, and I was looking at it. So wait a minute. You're saying you can buy this and that together for what, less than I paid? Is that what you're telling me? And I'm not getting anything special out of it?
Yeah, I'd be pissed. I would be pissed.
So at this point, I'm kind of at a point. I'm literally at a point where I'm not going to buy these games up front anymore because you're not giving me anything. You're devaluing my money, at least $40 worth. So I don't want your game, and I don't want anything you've got because you clearly, those of us who pre-ordered and paid up front don't matter.
How could you guys have not gotten a whole slew of things?
Something.
Like if you had bought it and got a statue, a steel book, those other fancy maps or whatever that they'll put in there as a collector's, like, sure, that's probably what you were paying for. But if it was just for the game and a season pass to ensure that you got all of the content without charging you anymore and they're giving it away for free, I'd be pissed. Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like, why did I spend that? I should have just done $60 then.
I should have.
All right.
Clearly,
well,
that's
hopefully you're
where we're
listening, devs. You owe some people something cool here, something pretty big. Let's see. Google Stadia finally announced that the wireless controller functionality for those who play on Stadia browsers work wirelessly now.
Wow.
Thought I'd add that in.
Just now? Holy crap.
I guess from release until now, it was only on the Chromecast Ultra devices where it could work that way. So starting last week, you can play without plugging it into your laptop or PC. So
well,
there you go.
I'll be damned. Who'd have thought that was something people wanted?
Wireless controller to play wirelessly. I know. These stupid ideas we have. I tell you. Jeff Keighley apparently has a surprise game reveal on May 12th at noon Pacific Standard. I guess it's Pacific Daylight Time now, right? Whatever. Noon Pacific on the Summer Game Fest website. So check that out. I don't know what it is yet. We'll all find out on the 12th.
Hints, no clues, no nothing. No.
Not that I could tell. That website's very generic right now, man. Like, they got the backdrop, they got the dates, they got a way for you to put your email in to get notifications.
You know what?
I haven't checked it since we watched the Xbox Inside. Or am I saying that right?
Whatever.
Inside X?
It doesn't matter.
Wherever that was called. Why did I draw a blank?
But you know what? That's good. That's good.
The event.
The
big event.
Let's have something for once that's not being spoiled or dug into.
Right.
Let's just see what it is. Maybe it'll be something amazing that we never expected.
Just being straight up surprised.
I would love that for once, you know?
And know what? They'll announce it on May 12th. Coming to you, Q4 2022. God damn it! You know. Why do you got to tell us these things 50 years in advance? Just me? I'm the only one who gets mad at that? All right. Like, stop telling me about your shit till you're ready to release in 6 months. That's my new rule. Anyway, next quickie. Cate Blanchett is in talks to be in the Borderlands movie and in talks for Lilith, in fact. At the time of this recording, no solid deal has been made.
Okay.
I'm waiting for everyone to get pissed about her age in the Age of Lilith.
I'm gonna repeat.
We couldn't have, what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion. He was too old.
Yeah. I'm gonna repeat what I said to
I love
you.
her.
Is she either has to have kids or she's looking to ruin her career, because I don't see this movie being anything. Because I'll say this, go back to the 90s when Super Mario Brothers happened. The only reason that it was either Bob Hoskins or Dennis Hopper, and I feel like it was Bob Hoskins, did the movie is because their kid said, "Ooh, you got to do that movie," and they're like, "Okay."
Oh, yeah.
And they
I
just
feel like
did
I've
it.
heard that story. Yeah.
And then what do they say about the movie now? It's the worst piece of shit that I ever did.
You know, I always like to try to give something a fair chance.
And
I've never was on the boat where I thought we needed to be making all these movies based on video games anyway. But again, I'm not the audience. I play them. I got the best version of the story you wanted to tell already.
Sure.
Is how I look at it.
I'm open to the idea if we're doing something true to the character, but maybe twisting it up a bit. Okay? Because that's, again, where I'll make the arguments for the two that I'll always go back to. Detective Pikachu and Sonic, and to some degree Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat gave us a more fleshed out...
The first one.
Yeah, it gave us a more fleshed out story to something that was just a fighter. So I give it credit, but it did what it set out to do. It was just, okay, they're going to this island, here's what happens, they fight, boom, boom, boom. That's all you need. You don't need all these extra characters and all this crap that the sequel did. You told the story as it needed to be told, you did it, you're done. Detective Pikachu and Sonic, they were true to those characters, but did something different that we were not expecting with those characters, and it was fun. So, maybe Monster Hunter can do that. I don't see that being the case with Borderlands, because, who is it, Gearbox? They are money-hungry, garbage people, and they will find a way to monetize the shit out of this movie. Ads galore, and it'll be...
Especially if you're willing to drop on Cate Blanchett.
And they will be overseeing the entire thing and be like, you gotta do... There's going to be too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's going to ruin the movie. I will...
Oh, you're probably not wrong.
I will bet on that. And in fact, that's where I'll give Neil Druckmann a little bit of credit for refusing to have The Last of Us be done in a way that he was like, I've done this. So I'm really hoping that the Last of Us TV series that we keep hearing about on HBO is going to be something that we have not done. Because if that was his argument that entire time, I've told this story already. I don't want to do this again. Then what is this going to be? Now, if it's going to be about Joel and Ellie, then you got to flesh it out, man. So you're really, really fleshing it out beyond what we saw.
Right.
Fair enough.
Which makes me feel like it might turn into more Walking Dead territory, because that was really more about like the people that happen to be going through a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just over zombie stuff where I'm just like, what are you going to do to make it new? I don't know. You know, like you love it. That's fine. I still enjoy games and stuff with it. I just feel like it's overdone. We need to put like 10 years time between the next one, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
But piggybacking off of that, they also got their sights on The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, to be in the film as well.
If they can get him.
They're saying they've got their sights on him. There's nothing right now about talks of it.
All that does is prove my point about making money. They throw all the money in him.
They're trying to put the big players in there.
And they'll be like, he'll bring in the dollars. Because people see him.
He would do it.
He'll get the casual people in who have no idea what Borderlands is. They'll be like, hey, a new Rock movie's coming out. Let's go. He's the Schwarzenegger of his age. Okay?
He really is.
He's the draw. You see The Rock? Let's go. And don't get me wrong. I like the guy. I mean, he's
but you're
fun.
buying names.
Yeah. I mean, he's fun in everything he's in. I will give him that. I'm not saying that all of his movies are great, unless we forget Skyscraper. But I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, I don't go watch all the stuff he's
No.
so
I
I'm
don't
not
either.
sure.
I'm not. He's not
Yeah.
one of those names that
I
draws
don't
me.
dislike him, but I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's not
go
one of
by
those
it.
names that draws me into a movie. But if there's a movie that I want to see that he's gonna be in, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Like he's not gonna make me not want to see it.
Right. I have a few actors that are that are just.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I have to determine how big of a part they have before I make my decision. Let's see. Cyberpunk 2077 is hosting its own live stream event on July 11th. Some sleuths think it might be something fairly sizable since they chose to have it what would have been E3 week. But I have no actual details to cite. So July 11th, their own live stream event. And then the last little quickie that I have here, there was a petition started for PlayStation to change the free games this month. Yes. I guess we're all stuck at home and feel like we get a little cranky if we don't get games that we enjoy. So they gave away, obviously, with the price of your subscription, Farming Simulator and City Skylines, which I will admit are very niche games. But compounding the fact that rumors were flying left and right, that fans were convinced they were getting leaked information about Dark Souls and Dying Light would be the free titles that was supposed to be coming out, which, if you were expecting that, made the blow feel pretty low. So to be clear, Sony never said that these games were coming. This was just all internet rumors. But at the time of recording, they had over 60,000 signatures. I don't know that it's actually going to make Sony change their mind.
Probably.
They've not said that. But I don't know. I feel like it was a waste of time. I feel like you should have just been bummed and moved on with your life. But that's just me. I don't.
Sure.
Excellent. So I could tell you a little bit of weird news.
Go for it.
It's not really weird, but I keep tacking it under these. It's like probably I should just rename it myself. Fun things that I found in the gaming world this week. So this one I found kind of fun. This week there was a YouTuber who built a PC. Yeah, you say whatever. But the PC he built fits in an old Nintendo Entertainment Console system.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it was really neat. So, the YouTuber who goes by the name Equalo, I want to proper credit here. So if you guys want to go check it out, because he did film the whole building of it, transformed an old NES that he found in an alley after someone had just thrown it out. So I know that it's been done before. People have made like a PC out of the console, but he wanted to test it with 2020 tech. So he initially tried to get an AMD Ryzen 2600 and an NVIDIA GTX 1660 and the power supply that it needs to fit inside the PC. He did have to cut out some parts of the console, like where the cartridges would have gone and the little slot if you were going to play the game, and just like small internal things that you're probably not going to notice from the outside. One good point the article asked was about cooling, because you could imagine that console wasn't built to have that much heat going on up in there. So since this console wasn't built for that, he just said it was to see if it would work. Like, it wasn't the point for it to actually be fully functioning and something that he was going to be using on the daily. He just wanted to see if it would work, and by God, it did. So maybe not well, but it still worked. But yeah, I definitely recommend looking up the video, because like I said, he videoed the entire process, and it was just kind of neat to watch.
Oh, yeah.
How he was putting it all together, and the fact that he just got it to work. Granted, it's not going to be that useful in the long run, but hey, power to you to have those kind of hobbies to turn into something fun like that. And he did it, and he made it happen. So you want to do a truth or trash?
Hit me.
I know it's hard to do these days. I feel like I live in a world where only rumors fly.
Sure. I believe that.
And this one, short and sweet.
Okay.
2K Games and Hangar 13 are in fact working on Mafia 4 with a release window of Q4 2021. Mafia 4.
Sure. True.
He says, yep, sure. I hope so. I loved Mafia 1 and 2. 3 was good.
Never played them.
3 was good. The gameplay definitely was just the only thing that kind of left something to be desired in 3 for me. The story was great. The setting was great. The scenario, all that kind of stuff was great. Just didn't like the gameplay on it. I want them to go back to the Italian style. I don't know, man. I wanted that mafia.
You wanted that mafia. You would
I
say
love those guys.
the guy that come up and say, "Hey, you, shut up your face, huh?"
I'm gonna smack ya. Go on inside. Get in there. Mama's gonna be so upset with you. Go help her make a sauce. All right.
No, I want a pizza.
You should get yourself a pizza. You owe it. Well, the next game. Name that game.
And stop.
All right. So, your first game, the story. Welcome to the show of a lifetime. You will like it here. You'll be part of the family again. They missed you, Michael. They want to meet you. You will join them soon. You did something to her. Smiley face was actually in there. You play and must live inside the circus. You must complete the daily tasks set by the ringleader. It's simple. Good luck. Is this game A, Her Circus, B, Freak Show, C, Ringling Monster, D, Miscreation?
You know, when you first started, I thought you were telling me the story of Michael Myers because you said you did
When
something
they put
to
Michael
her,
in there, I was trying to figure it out.
and I was like,
Just
oh,
Michael.
because he killed his sister, and yeah.
No,
But no, now we're in a circus. But who knows? Maybe he went to a circus for a while. We don't know.
we really don't.
We don't know. Well, we kind of do. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Other than space.
Other than
Did he come
space.
back from space?
did he go to space?
Wasn't it? I don't know. Whatever. I could be making everything up. Fact check me, people. Call me out.
Being one of those people who are getting your horror icons wrong.
Probably.
There's
I
only
was thinking of Jason, Freddy versus Jason. Were they in space or something?
well, Jason went to space, but not with Freddy.
I don't know. All the people. Okay, whatever. So it wasn't. So is this game A?
Okay.
We're just gonna edit it there. We'll pretend like
No, we're not. Keep
I
going.
wasn't a moron.
B.
B, Freak Show. And the answer is B, Freak Show.
Hooray!
I wanted to get so much more creative with that one. It's hard.
Yeah, it can
When
be.
that's so small like that. And I'm like, no, it's just going to give it away. But you know what? I shouldn't care. What do the points mean anyway?
They mean nothing.
Exactly. I haven't even kept track of how many you won. Was I supposed to?
Nah.
Okay. Your next game. Journey across the Indian Ocean, uncover the secrets of the drunken god, and become a legendary pirate captain. This game mixes fast-paced shooter action with light ARPG elements. You're not on the Caribbean anymore. Mm-hmm. This is an epic pirate adventure with 60 different enemy types, almost 100% original assets, with naval combat coming soon. I know, I like that they put that in there. Almost. 100%.
Almost. So did they steal the trees?
If a tree looks like your tree, I'm just letting you know now.
Damn it, you got the wrong people. They stole your trees.
They stole your trees, damn it. Oh, but it also has naval combat coming soon, and you can kick a zombie in half while playing the fiddle. Is this game A, grog and grenades, B, Caribbean cannons, C, pirate and pistol, or D, rum and gun?
C,
pirate and pistol, and the answer is D, rum and gun.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Just about as bad as pirate and pistol.
I had to it's like you never have this issue, but when I talked myself into to name that games, I'm now, if I'm reading it and actually think I'll play it, I'm like, maybe just nix it. We don't need people to really know that much about me. Then I'm willing to throw 10 cents at a thing and like it. Okay, your last game. Gameplay. Red blue joint can touch red blue column. In other cases, the game fails. Explain? Sure. It's a boring game. Don't expect it to be fun. But compared with running for half an hour, it's more relaxed to play your favorite music while moving with the rhythm. Please play your own music. How does it score? Usually 10 points for touching the post. If you use the same joint continuously and contact the column within a relatively fixed range, the ROI will be temporarily reduced. Yeah, it's encouraging you to exercise more. This is a motion sensing game. It doesn't need any sense of body equipment. Just turn on the camera on the computer and you can play happily. Is this game A, just get up, B, color in motion, C, move with AI, D, not Spotify?
I'm going to say A.
A, just get up. And the answer is C, move with AI.
Damn it. I knew it would be one of these uncreative. Because, look, the way he was talking about it, it was just, I'm so lazy that I'm not even going to do anything. So naming the game is going to be just as hard. And I'm not going to do that.
Watch the trailer. He was just like, look, I did this thing. Like, you can even tell he's like, look, colors, it connected. This is, yeah.
There's a thing. I'm gonna, when you were talking about it, it made me remember something. I want to ask if you've ever done this, okay? Mm-hmm. When they say put your own music to it, have you ever done that? Has there ever been, not just playing your own music, Spotify or whatever, doesn't matter, but say you're doing a scene in a game, you're playing something in a game, and you have to have this one track playing over this one thing that you're doing.
I honestly, now I feel like a very boring person. I don't think I've done that. Outside of like, I used to use Zombies Run app for like a summer when I thought I was going to be a jogger, which was kind of like playing a game, and I pumped my own music into that as I'm listening to the story, but I don't think that counts.
Okay. Well,
I was still playing a game, but I was running to music.
I mean, there's only one instance I remember a song specifically had to be playing at this particular moment that I was doing this one scene in a game. Now, I've probably done this several times, but this is the only one that comes to mind. I think I was playing Watch Dogs 2. There was a mission where you had to sneak into this area that was surrounded by cops, get into a truck, and steal this souped-up car. And you had to take off and then lose the cops. Whatever happened, it was just timing. Okay, perfect timing at that moment. I was playing Spotify. Mama Said Knock You Out came on.
Oh, beautiful.
And it just ran with the scene so beautifully because as soon as I shot out of the car, the song kicked in. Don't call it a comeback. Pow! And I was like, yeah. So I'm going to keep this going.
Did you record it a little?
I wish I had because it was
music.
Because I was doing so well and then I ruined it, like I didn't win. So I was like, you know what? No, we'll restart this again because that was too perfect.
The top.
So we're going to do
back
it again.
to one, people.
That's right. So I had to jump out of that car at just the right time. Just the right
Tuck and roll.
Yeah. So it's fun sometimes where we can, play the game a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to have to think about that. Like, I maybe, but I honestly can't think of an instance where that's happened. I can think of instances where I'm like, oh my God, this soundtrack already included? Yeah, Let's see here. That's all I got. We had a headliner, of course. That's what we're moving on to today. Steven said we're going to talk about some rumors today that maybe we totally loved and bought into and maybe got disappointed by, or maybe the opposite. So I don't know if you wanna start off here. I got two.
Okay.
I felt like that was enough.
Yeah, it should be plenty.
And then honorable mentions, of course, just in case I need to fluff for time. But we never have to fluff for time.
Never. No, we're running pretty good right now.
But I plan for it anytime. I
know. So what we're talking about here are sometimes you hear a rumor in the video game world. We talk about them every week, just about truth or trash. Is it true? Is it not? And sometimes you hear those rumors and you get a little upset about it. It's like, the reason this kind of came up in my head is because we had been talking with the announcement of Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. We got to see RoboCop and Ash is nowhere in sight. And I still believe there was truth.
I was going to say, that's my first one. I figured I would just bitch about and get out of the way.
Well, I'll go ahead. No, we'll kind of segue into that because
Yeah.
I still believe he was going to... Either he will be in it or he was going to be in it. Because with the addition of Fujin and Shiva within this game, that completes that entire list. And as I was telling you through Discord, friendships. That was another rumor we had, that friendships were going to come back.
Oh, okay.
And they are. So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I think it had to have gotten tied up in some kind of legal jargon, honestly, because he did have an interview, a month ago, that was one of the first questions he was asked. So is Ash, because remember, I got all pissed because he tweeted out, I will not be in Mortal Kombat. And it was like a fatality thing that he photoshopped himself into. And I was like, okay, that puts it to bed. And then we talked about it again. And then I got excited again. I think he said in the interview that he doesn't own the rights to Ash. So he said he actually just doesn't even know. So to his understanding, he's not in it, or Ash is not in it, I should say more specifically. So I'm thinking something just didn't come to an agreement on the rights to Ash's character. This is the only thing I could think of, because I love Bruce, but he would have done it. Give me a break. I feel like he would have done it and lent his voice to it. He did a whole commercial for Dead by Daylight, for crying out loud, and he was just a downloadable DLC character in that. He wasn't even like a story.
Peter Weller
and
came
voiced
back
it
for RoboCop.
And voiced it.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, so it has to be something with whoever owns the right to Ash and the people at Mortal Kombat not being able to come to some sort of agreement.
And I feel like
they're trolling us.
If there's any kind of legal representation that's being misconstrued here, I feel like, and again, I have no proof, I'm just speculating here.
Right.
When Ash vs. Evil Dead came on Stars, I remember there was a legal snafu with that, because they never specifically mentioned Army of Darkness outright, because that was a Universal property. That's
true. God, they've had such a long, sordid history with all of their movies and stuff, trying to get them going. But yeah,
it was almost like they hinted at it, so you were always kind of curious, so did it happen or didn't it happen? Because the arm, it looks kind of robotic, and he did lose it in part 2, so you could skip over that. But then there are just these little sprinklings here and there that make you think, so we did go back in time. So Army of Darkness did happen. So, and it's never specifically said outright. So you're just kind of left wondering, I don't know.
Right.
So it would have to be something along that line. Now, that's what kind of brought this conversation up. Now, did you have anything else to add to that frustration?
No, I was just gonna pretty much talk a little bit more like how we just did. I liked it better, just the back and forth that. It was just you know how frustrated I was getting.
Yeah.
Because I love Bruce. I will throw money at his projects. I just will. There's very little people in this world that, whether I even play it, I had no interest in the game, I would have bought it because of this. That's how stupid I am. Okay, it would have just sat there. The hubs probably would have played it, but it was playing with my emotions.
Yeah.
He was in it. And then he said no. And then when they were like, no, we saw that it's going to be Ash. And I'm like, if Bruce actually lied to me, I mean, I'll forgive you, but it's going to take some time.
Right.
Because he's kind of turned into a silver fox these days. I know this has nothing to do with anything, but have you been watching his Twitter? Because he's let it all go silver, and I'm here for it.
I mean,
just going to say, by the way, Bruce, you don't have to diet. It works on you, man. I'm just going to, anyway. So I was upset.
I've seen you getting all freaky with him. You just be like, ooh, baby.
Oh, yeah, no. I've been sharing a lot of it. He looks like he's coping well. It's all the Snapchat filters and all this stuff. But anyway. But yes, that rumor flying back and forth really was just infuriating by the end of it. And since we still don't know.
Yeah. So what kind of came to me, where this kind of came up at, the one that stood out to me, I was trying to go far back, and there might be others if I really, really dig, because I feel like Mortal Kombat had a lot of them.
Oh man, yeah.
Characters that were supposedly in the game, or things that supposedly happened in the game. And I might touch on one if I can remember one, but the one that came to mind immediately, that it was just one of those, don't toy with me, man. Don't toy with me, man. Super Smash Bros. Melee was a brand new game on not the 64, GameCube. It was the second game in that series. And there were a slew of unlockable characters, and everybody was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And there was always this, question. It's like, is there another set of characters in this game? I don't know. And then I think it was Game Informer or Game Pro, one of those old magazines that used to. You remember those old game magazines?
Oh yeah, actually we didn't. We just got another one not that long ago, and I thought it was done.
Wow.
I feel like it was like a month ago. I was like, damn. All right.
Anyway,
but yeah, I remember we used to get them. Yeah.
I think it was Game Pro. They published an article that says how to unlock Sonic and Tails in Smash Brothers. And I was like, what?
Oh.
So I was like,
yeah.
And they told you all you have to do. And it was very, very difficult. There was this thing called like endless mode or sudden death mode. I don't remember. It was like this really, really hard challenge screen where if you got hit one time, you're done. And these drone characters would come out and come at you. You had to get 20 of them off the area. If you could survive 20, you'd unlock them. So I tore it. I was,
You're like, I'm getting this.
Yeah, and I struggled so hard to reach that 20. And then I got the 20. And nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Except,
jerks.
I guess you could say, I have the record there for myself that I actually did go the distance and got the 20, but I didn't get the Sonic and Tails because I found out after the fact later on that it was an April Fool's prank. And I was so pissed.
Yeah. All these people at home, like, how many times it had to be a glitch, right? Let me do it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
but at the time, we weren't privy to April Fool's pranks. We were just like, oh this has got to be...
We trusted people.
Yeah. Because, I mean, now we've all got our guard up come April 1st, but when the magazines would hit, it wasn't something we thought about immediately. Mm-hmm. So we see it and we're like... And of course, they never put the fine print on there saying this is an April Fool's prank or something like that. And I remember...
It ruins the joke.
Yeah. Because later on...
Can't tell people it's a joke.
I know that certain aspects of certain websites, they used to do like one April Fool. Because I used to get suckered into those too. And then now they do these things that at the bottom, they'll always have happy, April 1st or April Fool's Eye. So when you get to the bottom... they get you. So at least at that point, But then it was just like, and of course, I'm sure in the next issue, they said, yeah, did you like our April Fool's prank? Ha 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 ha. It's like, screw you, dude.
Jerk. No.
So
we did not enjoy it.
Yeah, that was one that I really latched on to that I thought was so real because I was like, why wouldn't it be real? Why? Huh? They got pictures because they had a picture, and it looked legit.
They went the extra mile
for
this one.
It looked so legit, and I was like, it's got to be real. So I was mad.
I would have bought into it.
Yeah, but
we weren't used to always being lied to like we are now.
And at the time, I think Sonic and Mario may have had an Olympic Games game at that time. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
So I don't want to swear to that, but yeah, that was one that really, really, it hurt me. I really bought into it and it hurt me so bad.
I wanted his character, man. Yeah. They should have just put him in later. Just as I'm sorry, we got you. It was hilarious, but here you go.
Yeah.
However they would have done it then. I don't know.
Anyway, what do you got? What else you got?
Well... The one that and this is going to be like a back and forth again with me with rumors. I get emotional, man, on certain things. You play with them too long. Alan Wake. And I'll have to set this one up a little bit because some of y'all may not remember all of the trials, tribulations that came along with this game. But let's just say I was a huge Matthew Peretta fan. And yes, I'm admitting this on the podcast. I was in an email fan group for him. Yes, people. We email threaded each other. And we were fans of his initially on a show that he was on prior, and it just morphed into that. But I digress. It's not the point. So huge fan of his. Found out he was going to be voicing and in Alan Wake. Again, if I'm a loyal fan, as we've just established with Bruce, I'll buy it. I'll play it. So when we first heard of this game, he was going to be the voiceover for Alan, me already being a gamer, totally in. So this is 2005. Just to kind of set the tone for you. I had to relook it up because I couldn't even remember how long ago we'd been talking about this game. And it was announced at that E3. So cool. So little leaks of the story and vision would start be coming out here and there that was picked up by Microsoft, which is where it probably died. I don't know. We have a history of that. So let's just say for a couple of years, we're seeing leaks of story, how big the game's going to be. Matthew Pratt is in it. Amazing. I'm all here for it. But then like 2 or 3 years go by. Now, this is before we were used to like thinking games were going to take a long time. Nothing happened. So I thought it fell through, but then Microsoft picked it up. Being the young, naive person that I was, cool. This is going to work out. More rumors float about how big the world's going to be, how this amazing, intricate story. It's going to be on all platforms. Perfect, right? Then cut to 2009. Still making this game, by the way. Xbox 360 only. After I had been told that we were getting a PC version, and after Microsoft, of all people, buy it to not have a PC version, I was freaking pissed. Then they started saying, don't worry. We still would love to do a PC version, and it's going to happen, says the devs. And then they had to say, no, it's not. So I went back and forth with this rumor, only for it to take 6 years to develop. The game got watered down, and it never came out on PC. But then I digress, cut to 2 years after it actually released in 2010. In 2010, when the game finally released, the PC version came out in like 2012. By then, I didn't care and had no idea that it had come out on PC because I had stopped paying attention to it, just accepting the fact I was never going to play this game. And now, to be fair to it, it was so good. I could only imagine if like all of the stuff we were being told was going to be put into the game.
Right.
Like how cool that would have been. Because I really still enjoyed Alan Wake, even if I had to wait 15 freaking years to play it. No lie. Because I want to say it was just over the last 4 years that I had realized it had come to PC and I had bought it and played it when it was like $2 on Steam. Because I had no idea it had come to PC. And then I think it was taken off of Steam for a while because they weren't doing a PC version anymore.
Right.
It's such a weird history that has nothing, that doesn't have anything to do with the rumors. But my God, the amount of stuff that I was told, took back, promised again, took back. And then when they finally just told me I wasn't going to be able to play it, I had just given up and I was just beside myself and distraught.
Right.
But now I've played it and it's good. But damn it, man. That was a roller coaster for me. Like for 6 years. I'm like, what's happening? I love him. How do I do this? Matthew, I hope you know. All of the tears. I wonder how he's doing.
I don't know.
Just randomly. Second thought. Anyway,
anyway.
Did you have another rumor? You don't want to get me off on all my boyfriends today, I swear.
Well, I've got 2 more that I'm going to touch on. I'm going to briefly touch on one and then really go into the other one because I kind of feel like it circles us back around to something we've talked about previously or recently. First of all, like I said, I'll touch on Mortal Kombat. I remember they had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and listeners, if you know this for a fact, correct me on this, but I feel like Animalities were a rumor in part 2, and then it was something that they turned into a reality in part 3. I'm almost positive that's a
I didn't play enough of them
myth.
to know where they fall in the timeline, but yeah.
Yeah. And then there were hidden characters in Mortal Kombat 2, like Smoke and Jade. I think they were 2, kind of like Reptile was supposed to be. They were the hidden fighters. You do something, and then they appear, and you have to fight them. And then there were other rumors. It was like, oh, there's a completely black ninja. Yeah, and he'll come out and he's just like a shadow. And then that turned into Noob Saibot that they created later on. Same was another character known as Meat, who was supposed to be just like a dead body, who was not in those games. And credit to the developers for saying, yeah, let's create this character that everyone's so fascinated with and throw him in there. Why not? And I was like, that's pretty cool, for them to actually do that. So myths,
they're probably like, thank you for the idea to make me money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
cool. I should do that.
Myths became realities to a point. But the other one that kind of comes to mind, and as I've mentioned before, I don't really have a personal stake in this, but it was one that I found fascinating. I always found it fascinating when I would hear it because I didn't know the story. So I always thought it was true because I didn't know. But spoilers. Okay? Spoilers.
Spoilers. 3, 2, 1.
For a very old game, just so you're aware. Just giving you a heads up. Final Fantasy VII. In the original narrative, and I'm being very careful to say that because I honestly believe from here on out we're getting something different, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. They started a new one, yeah.
In the original narrative, Aerith, who is the girl that Cloud befriends, becomes, in what's the right word I'm looking for here? For some reason I want to say enticed, but that's not the right word.
What? Yeah.
Infatuated. Jeez, there we go.
Oh, okay.
He becomes infatuated with, and becomes his love interest, kind of, depending on how you want to aim that triangle. She dies. She gets stabbed in the back by his...
See, I knew this, actually.
Yeah, stabbed in the back by his mortal enemy. Okay? There was a rumor that existed for so many years that you could save her. That she does not die.
I think I've even heard that, and I never played them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a very well-known rumor. that you can save her in the game if you do something and you can make her playable again. I even remember seeing pictures like, oh yeah, you can have her back in your party later on. Might have been a mod, a glitch, or something that people just kind of found a way to go around it and get her back in your party. But legitimately to the story, absolutely not. She is gone. She is dead. End of story.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
There
guys.
is no saving
Been trying
her.
all these years.
So, and again, that's a spoiler for a 20-some-odd-year-old game.
Yeah.
And it could change. I'm set on that too because that's it.
Was it the back half of the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like that's the twist everyone's expecting, and Square's going to be like, "Wapa!" and they flip the script somehow. And that's not. It's
maybe it'll be him.
Somebody else will die that we don't expect. I would love to see that.
They should do that
because. Remake.
And then it's still a brand new story for the new players and something really fun for the old players.
Exactly.
I see a win-win for that.
If people would stop bitching about it because...
Now, who cares about that? Vocal minority.
Yeah. But yeah.
Do your thing and they will come. Okay?
But those are some very... I know that there are more out there. My brain has been kind of strenuous this week trying to
understand
a lot of things going on, but yeah, those are some of my favorites that I always remember hearing over the years. What are some of yours?
So I only had like 2 honorable mentions just because I feel like it's one we probably all could commiserate with, but like didn't really need a whole lot of detail. Let's just say backwards compatibility on basically any console, but the one that really pissed me off was PS2.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys remember the hype about how PS1 games will totally work, and nope. But I seem to remember it was like back in the day, kids, the discs had a blue back to them. So on like the PlayStation games, like some of them had a blue back. I think I want to say my girlfriend and I discovered, because we were at her house, she was the first one to get a PlayStation 2. So, all of us would go to her house to play. And we brought PlayStation 1 games. And I want to say it was the mirrored backed ones that actually did work. But like your older PlayStation 1s that had the blue back on it wouldn't. So it wasn't completely backwards compatible. And then 3 wanted to say the same and all this kind of stuff, which is why I have trust issues when you tell me it's backward compatible, because you've been telling me this for well over 10 years. Just saying. And then I think just who's the winner of any internet rumors that have driven a group mad in the history of time, at me if I'm wrong, Half-Life.
Yeah.
Tell me that group has not thrived off of getting another Half-Life game for the better part of 8 years. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Half-Life 3 is coming. Half-Life 3 is coming. It's going to look like this. Or just any of them. I just feel like out of any internet rumor about a video game, or I should just say any rumors, because we've gone back further than internet on some of these. I think Half-Life wins the rumor mill and people losing their mind one way or the other, whether they were getting it or not. And then Half-Life Alex came out and we're like, sort of more Half-Life. Okay, sure. Valve. Okay. You wanted us to spend $1,100 on this game, but sure, okay, So you did get more Half-Life. It just probably wasn't what you were expecting. But, yeah, that's pretty much it that I could remember, where I can actually feel what I felt like when I heard those rumors, and then the disappointment, and then the elation when I thought, no,
No.
For myself personally.
I can understand.
Yep. Yep. Well, sorry, Half-Life fans. Hopefully you'll get a pancake one that you all can play very soon. I have no idea. But that's our show. You can hit us up sometime on Twitter at Super Mega Crash, and you can send us an email at supermegacrash@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram. You could view that weekly icon art that Steven puts all his time and love into. Support the show, because you can like and leave a review on your preferred platform. Tell us how we're doing, or tell us off. I don't know. Invoke something in you. Even you can even go to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. You can tell your friends to look for Pencil and Paper Podcast Network or Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and even youtube.com/Pencil Paper Productions. Thank you for listening. I'm Lacey O'Finley.
I am Stephen White.
And you could join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.